right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. You can tell it's a Monday morning because we started off the day with some computer issues, as technology likes to do. But now that we have that out of the way, I think the rest of the week will hopefully, knock on wood, be smooth sailing. So if you've been tuning in for the month of November, you will know that we are celebrating conservation. We're talking to scientists, to explorers, and conservationists all over the world who are dedicating their life to protecting ecosystems and the species found within them. I think you just have to turn on the news to know that we're not doing a great job protecting the amazing biodiversity we have on our planet. But lucky for us, we have some amazing heroes who are working day in and day out to do something about it. And we're going to meet one of those heroes today. Today, we're going to connect with Elena Zanela. She is a marine biologist and co-founder and executive director of Mision Tiburon, a Costa Rican NGO with a goal to promote research, management, and conservation of sharks and marine life in our ocean. She has more than 10 years of experience working in marine conservation and has also been involved not only in research, but also educational and training programs focused on coastal communities and government officials. So with her partner, Andres Lopez, she led a shark conservation project, Golfo Dulce, which reached the creation of the Scalloped Hammerhead Shark Sanctuary with that same name. This is the first sanctuary dedicated to sharks in Costa Rica. And in 2019, she received the prestigious Whitley Award. So I am going to bring Ilena in with us now. Ilena, so good to see you today. Thanks for joining us from Costa Rica.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity for me to share our work. So thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, we're thrilled to have you. I'm going to let you take over for a little bit and share some of the amazing work that you do. And then I know we have tons of classrooms tuning in. They're going to have lots of questions for you.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. I'm going to share my screen. Is okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So thank you very much for the opportunity again. For me, it's such a pleasure to share our work in shark. It's really my passion. So first, I would like to explain to you why I decided to work with shark, and especially with the scalloped hammerhead shark. When I was a student of marine biology, I visited for the first time Cocos Island, which is a little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, located 500 miles from the coast of Costa Rica. It's like a magical island. There is a lot of green, a lot of rain, waterfalls everywhere. And this rain and waterfall give a lot of nutrients around the island that attracts all the food chain. And of course, attract also migratory oceanic species like sharks. That's why it's called the Sharks Island. So when I visited Cocos for the first time, I could see the hammerheads, this big, incredible congregation. The hammerheads visit the Cocos Island in very specific habitat called cleaning stations. There, the sharks look for little fish like angelfish and butterfly fish to get cleaned. These little fish feed in the parasite of the sharks. So it's like a spa for the sharks. When I was in Cocos Island, I could dive in this cleaning station, and it's incredible because you can see hammerhead shark everywhere, like a sky of hammerheads. It was such an incredible and powerful experience for me, that I decided to dedicate my work to this incredible species. So when I went back to the university, I decided to learn and study about hammerhead shark. So what I learned, first, that hammerhead is a migratory species that visit Cocos Island and other oceanic islands like Galapagos when they are adults. Then the females actually give birth in coastal water. And the newborns and juveniles stay in these coastal waters like mangroves and in the mouth of the rivers during the first year of their life. Why in this site? Where they are like nursery grounds, nursery area for different marine species. So the hammerheads can find easily the food and also can refuge from big predators. Then when they are subadult, they start this migration in open water, visiting these incredible oceanic islands like Cocos. And I also learned that the hammerheads of Cocos Island are not only of Costa Rica, they are shared with other countries of our region, like Panama, Ecuador, and Colombia. So the collaboration for the research and conservation for this species is really essential. And other thing that I learned is about the shape of the head. It's a very unique shape. And I studied that hammerhead sharks are actually the youngest extinct species of sharks. They are the most evolved shark species. And in their head actually contain big brains for sharks. And that's why they have this behavior of congregations that is pretty unique for sharks. Also, you can see in the head where the eyes are located in the opposite side, and also the nares are co-located in this opposite side of the head. And I hope you can see the little points that are electroreceptor, ampoule of Lorenzini. So are electroreceptor for sharks. And the head shape helps the hammerhead in different ways. They actually see better than other sharks. Then they have a view of 360 degrees, and they can see the prey above and below them. And they also use the head like a metal detector. They make side-to-side movements, and so they can search and forage larger area for food. Also, the head helps them to reduce the force needed for swim, especially when they make turns. The location of the nares allow them to smell better, so they can track better the odor of the prey. And also there are several videos when we actually can see that the hammerheads use the head to handle better their prey, especially the rays that stay in the bottom. So there are different ways in which the head helps hammerheads. I also learned that hammerheads has a very slow growth, and they have very few pups. So they are very vulnerable for overfishing and overexploitation. Actually, hammerheads, they are declared critically endangered species because around the world their population declined dramatically. In fact, in Cocos Island, the decline in 20 years was around 45%. This is the cause of this decline are mostly for overfishing, because some fishery target sharks and hammerheads, but also they are bycatch of other fishing, like in the coast, they are bycatch in the fishery of snappers, for example, and in open water, they are bycatch of the fishery that look for mahi-mahi, for example. And also the degradation of the habitats impacted the nursery ground that are located in the coast. So for several reasons, we have a dramatical decline of the population of hammerheads. That's why I decided with other partner marine biology to start our organization and dedicate our work for the conservation of hammerheads. And especially we started identifying nursery ground in the coast. This is the region of the Eastern Tropical Pacific. You can see Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and Ecuador, and the oceanic islands of Galapagos, Cocos Island, and Malpelo. They are national parks, marine protected areas, where the hammerheads are protected in this area. However, along the coast, we have a lot of nursery grounds that are not protected. That's why we decided to focus our work, identify this critical habitat, this nursery ground in the coast of Costa Rica. We started in Golfo Dulce, which is located in the South Pacific of Costa Rica. And we started there because there is a seamount that connects Cocos Island to Golfo Dulce. And we know that hammerhead sharks use this seamount as highways. So in 2010, we started to work in Golfo Dulce, identify this essential habitat for hammerheads, monitoring the population of hammerheads, and try to study, understand better the route of migration between Golfo Dulce and the oceanic island. And of course, for us were also very important the engagement of the communities and the education of local communities. When we started, we tried to involve fishermen in our research because, well, they are the expert of the area. So we exchange experience and our results with them to try to understand better the population, the local migration of hammerheads in Golfo Dulce. And to do the monitoring, we use a tagging program and different methodologies. We use, for example, a conventional tagging, which is a simple tag with a number with our information for contact. So when the sharks are very little, newborns, we only use this tag because they are very vulnerable. So to try to don't impact them too much, we use only this conventional tag. This is other kind of tag, a little bigger, depending on the size of the shark. And thanks to this, if we can catch again the shark, we can see the movement that he made. For example, a fisherman catch the shark, so the fisherman can call us. So we have the data, the information of the movement that the hammerhead made. This is a little video of our Ilena. She's releasing a hammerhead pup in Golfo Dulce. So you can see that it's very, very little comparing with these other images of hammerheads.
Elena, I want to jump in just for a second. We have a class, Ms. Lawler's grade 3-4 class, and they'll have to go to recess soon, but I want to give them a chance to ask you a question before they have to go. So, yeah, keep the presentation open. I'm going to pop them up and let them say hi, and then we'll see if they have a question for you.
Okay.
Hey, grade 3-4s, how you doing?
Say that again.
All right. Do you have a question before your recess? I want to make sure you get a question in.
Why were you holding the hammerhead shark's head?
Well, the animals that they look for food are generally little shrimps that stay in the bottom. Most of the time they look for food in the bottom. So when they are juveniles, look for crustacean like shrimps, and then when they are adults, they can also look for rays or octopus also, and other fish. Yes.
All right. I think someone else might be coming up for another quick one.
Was he gonna like bite it?
Were you afraid to be bitten when you were holding its head?
If they, to look for them, we use to fish them. We use sardines to catch them. And well, we have to be very carefully. We handled them with a lot of care, and we never have any accident with them. They are very little, and we have to also make the tagging process very, very fast, like 1 minute. They can stay 1 minute or less outside of the water.
All right. Well, Mrs. Lawler's 3rd, 4th graders, thank you so much for the great questions, and have fun outside. It looks like a beautiful day. Okay, Elena, go ahead and continue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We also use acoustic tagging. So for the acoustic tagging, we need 2 components. The acoustic tag that we place in the shark in 2 different ways. In the dorsal fin or in the abdominal cavity, making a little surgery. And we also need a receiver in the bottom of the sea. So only the shark that enter in the radius of the receiver can be detected. And the radius is around 500 meters. So that's why we need the different receivers around the Gulf to cover the biggest area possible. So this is the surgery, a photo of the surgery that we made to a hammerhead. And this is a video. It's a long video, so it's I'm going to show you only a part. This is the receiver that we anchored in the bottom, and we use a block and a voice, and we change the receiver more or less each 3-6 months, depending of the size of the receiver. We also use satellite tagging. This is the better methodology that give us more robust data. So we place the satellite transmitter in the shark. Then the transmitter sends the signal at the surface to the satellite. So we need that the fin of the shark is outside of the water. So to have the information, the data of the location of the shark, we need that the shark is in the surface. Once we have the transmission to the satellite, they release data to a receiving station and then to a processing center and then to the researcher. And with these locations, we can make maps of the movements of the sharks. This is a tiger shark. We also identify an important site for adults of tiger sharks in Golfo Dulce. We are collocating a transmitter in the first dorsal fin of this shark. And this a little video to show you that there is another way to place the satellite tag in the sharks. Here the team is in Cocos Island, so they use a modified spear gun. So when they are diving in the cleaning station, they shot the shark with the tag. So here you can see better the process. They have to stay behind the rocks because the hammerheads are very shy. When they see the bubble of the diving equipment, they go away immediately. So it seems easy, but it's not so easy to make this process. So I would like to share with you a little about the result that we have in Golfo Dulce. We identify specific months when the females give birth. In these months, in June, July, we can see the smallest size of newborns of the hammerheads, that is around 50 centimeters. They are very, very, very small. And in this period, in June, July, we have the highest abundance of hammerheads also. And then we have a decline in April, May, because the juveniles stay in the nursery ground for 6-8 months and then start to make local migration around Golfo Dulce. So that's why decline the abundance, because they start to migrate to other sites. We also compare the abundance from 2010 to 2020, because in 2010 in Golfo Dulce, the government decided to not allow anymore the gill nets and the trawlers for shrimps that impacted a lot the different marine species, but also hammerheads. So in these 10 years, we can see that more abundance of hammerheads because of this management of the fishery. That is obviously give a positive impact in the marine ecosystem of Golfo Dulce. This is an example of a migration of hammerheads. This is a map that we can make with the data that we receive from the satellite tagging. So we tag hammerheads in Cocos Island, and we could see how he started making local migration around Cocos Island and then migrate to the coast, and at the end went to Panama, to very close to Coiba National Park also. So you can see how this shark species move from Costa Rica to Panama, and also we have data of migration to Colombia, for example. So yes.
Ilana, I'm going to jump in for just 1 second here. Ms. Foster's grade 5 in Ontario, Canada. They have to duck out soon for the end of their period, but I wanted to be sure they got a chance to ask you a question.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm asking on behalf of my students. We're in a virtual school, so they're off in another tab. But I have a student named Mason, and he was wondering, I think kind of two things. Well, he was wondering, when were hammerhead sharks discovered? But I guess too, we could ask when maybe did people start to work with hammerhead sharks and start this field of marine biology in regards to hammerhead sharks?
Okay. The first question, if I understood well, is when was discovered the hammerheads? If I'm not 100% sure, it's a really good question, and I think was at the end of or starting the 119, and the researcher started to work with hammerheads. The first researcher that I know is in the 70s, especially in Hawaii, that they study a nursery ground there. And then in the 80s, started to the research focus to understand better the congregation behavior of hammerheads in this island of the Eastern Tropical Pacific, and also in Mexico, in Socorro Islands, in Baja California also. So I think that the most important research efforts started in the Baja California, Mexico, in the 80s.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks, Ms. Foster's group. I hope you have a good Monday. And Elena, we'll let you continue a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. So thanks to the research that we made in Golfo Dulce, we identified very specific conservation action to protect the species. So the specific site to temporal closures of the fishery, for example, but also in 2017, we started a consultation process to try to manage better the marine resources and the scalloped hammerhead shark in Golfo Dulce. And as a result of these conservation efforts, in 2011, the president, in 2018, sorry, the president of Costa Rica declared the wetlands of Golfo Dulce as the Scalloped Hammerhead Shark Sanctuary. So it was a very important step for our research, because the government recognized the importance of Golfo Dulce for the hammerheads as nursery ground for the population of hammerheads, not only of Costa Rica, but also of the region. So with this declaration, we made agreement with the government, with the Ministry of Environment, but also with Coast Guards, to try to strengthen the sanctuary, making more research in the sanctuary, carry out educational programs, training for the government personnel institutions. In this photo, you can see that we visited the public school of Golfo Dulce. We make murals with the children, and we also print a book about the hammerheads and the the importance of Golfo Dulce. We also try to promote alternative from fisheries in the communities. So the dive activity was very an important alternative. And we make a group of young people that started diving with us, and now they are voluntary of our organization, making, for example, cleaning beach activity, subaquatic cleaning also of fishing site. So it's very nice because during the last year we have a stronger relation with the communities, and they really see the benefits of protecting the sanctuary and the marine resources. So for us, when we started as marine biology, we knew that the research is essential to understand, to promote specific management actions for the conservation of hammerheads, but we definitely need also the engagement of the community, and the children are, the future, and we know that with them we can really can make the conservation possible in the communities. So the Golfo Dulce also was declared a hotspot by Mission Blue. So it was for the communities, was a very important prize, or they feel very proud about this. And last year we also received the Whitley Award, and I would like to share with you a video that resume a little the project that was actually made by the Whitley Fund.
Elena, the volume's not coming through for us, but that's okay. I know that video is on YouTube. I was checking it out this morning too. I can share that link with the classrooms. I can share that link on YouTube as well if classrooms want to check it out after.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Well, I would like to take the opportunity to thank also our supporter. And thank you again, Joe, and all the students that are connected today to see my talk. So thank you very much.
All right. Excellent. So I'm just copying that YouTube link now. First of all, Elena, thank you so much. The work you're doing is incredible. And it's so great that you're being recognized with the accolades and the successes, being named a Hope Spot and the award, and just protecting that area of Costa Rica. It's so important. So thank you for the work that you are doing. I posted that link to the video on YouTube, so the classroom joining in live there can check it out if they want. And I put it in the private chat as well for our camera classroom. So let's get to some of those camera classrooms. I'm going to bring some of them in now. We'll start with Ms. Hansen's group. Ms. Hansen's group is joining us in Ontario, a grade 6 class. How are we doing today?
We're doing great, thank you. Hi, Elena. We have a
Hi.
Nice to see you. How many sharks have you tagged in your program? Was one of the students was wondering.
Okay, well, depend of the methodology that we have. Of course, with conventional tags, we have a bigger number. Is around 200 of hammerheads tagged with conventional tags. With the acoustic transmitter is 70 more or less. And with the satellite is around, I think it's 6 or 7 with satellite. With this technology, we also tag other migratory species like tigers. That we also have tagged around 8 tiger sharks in Golfo Dulce and Cocos Island.
That's really interesting. Another question was, how many species of hammerhead sharks are there?
In Golfo Dulce, we have 3 more species of hammerheads. Spirna lewini is the most common species and is the same hammerheads that live in Cocos Island as adults. And is the most endangered species by overfishing. So we focus our work in Spirna lewini, in Scalloped hammerhead shark, but we also have a resident hammer species like Spirna Tiburon and Spirna media in Golfo Dulce, and also the great hammerhead is Spirna mocara, which is also migratory species.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Hansen, I'll come back and visit your group in a moment, but we want to jump to another spot here. So I'm going to go to Winnipeg this time. We have some students hanging out with us in Winnipeg, Manitoba. How are we doing today, boys and girls? Good. All right. So our class in Winnipeg, they are 5th and 6th graders. Who's got a question for us?
Well, Joe, I already put a couple questions in the chat. One of my students was wondering if Elena has a favorite, why is hammer shark favorite? And has she ever encountered other sharks that may be dangerous when they're diving?
Okay, hammerhead is my favorite because when I dive in Cocos Island and I saw this, this big congregation, I feel, so blessed for the experience. And there I think to myself, I talk to myself, and I need to do something because it's such a beautiful experience that, the universe give to me, that I need to make something for protect this species. And I also see hammerheads very vulnerable because when I dive with them, they get scared very easily from the bubble, from the movements of the divers. So for me, I feel that they really need the protection. It's maybe strange, but this is, my feeling. And that's why I started my work with them. And if I have, I have encounter with the tiger sharks diving, that, sometimes people see them as dangerous. We have to be careful with tiger sharks. We have to look them always, in the eyes. They have a very different behavior than hammerheads. The hammerheads get scared by us, and the tiger not so much. He's very how can I tell, imponent, but I never have a bad encounter with sharks. I think they are very misunderstood species,
All right. Let's go to Mr. Blake's virtual grade 6s in Brampton. How are we doing today?
We're very good. Thank you so much for that very informational presentation, Elena, and congratulations on your award and all that great work you do with hammerhead sharks. My question is for my student. She asks information of, like, what information is collected on the tags? For example, if the shark dies, does the tag collect that information, or what information do you get back from the tags?
Yes, it's a very, very good questions, because sometimes we don't have this information, and we have to assume that, for example, a shark was caught by a fishery vessel, but when we don't have, data back for some period, we assume that the shark is dead, and with the satellite transmitter is easier to see this, because we have data continuously outside, of the water. So it is easier to understand when where was caught by a fishing vessel, for example. But in the other case, we have to assume this.
Yeah, and so sometimes I think with the standard tag that you put on, sometimes people will call you and say, we caught it, sometimes?
Yes, this is happen, and they give us information of the site, and mostly they release, the shark. They call us and say, I have this cat, this date, this time, and is mostly in Golfo Dulce. We had like 10% of recapture. We call recapturing.
All right. Joe in Wisconsin's hanging out with us. Do you have a question, Joe?
Yes. Where do hammerheads live?
Where do hammerheads? Sorry.
Yeah. Where do hammerheads live?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Sorry, it's not very good.
She's wondering about the range. Where in the world? Where around the world can you find them?
Okay. See, sorry. Yes, they are tropical and subtropical species. So in our water are very common. Then there are the Spirnalewini is more tropical species. Then there are other like that is very similar to Spirnalewini. We call it Spirna cigaena, that it prefers a little colder water. So they are not some very tropical, but subtropical areas. Yes.
Okay. Let's visit YouTube quickly, because we have lots of classrooms on YouTube. I want to make sure we get some of their questions in. So a few coming in are about just sharks in general, so the hammerheads. One is, can they swim backward? And another one is, how long do the hammerheads usually live?
Okay, sharks can't swim back, only in front direction, sorry. And the hammerheads can live 30 years. The maturity, they are adult around 7-9 years, depending. And yes, more or less is 30 years, the life.
All right. And Ms. Rutherham's group is wondering what the largest shark you've caught and tagged is.
The larger shark is the whale shark. We never tag a whale shark, but in the water, the larger fish that we have could be around 15 meters. So it's like a bass.
Wow, 15 meters. That's still pretty big. And for those tuning in, whale sharks can be up to 60 feet. So they're huge when they get that big. Very cool. Our camera classrooms, give me a wave at the camera if you have another question, and we'll try and visit a couple more. So let's bring in Ms. Hansen first.
Okay. One of the questions was, how small are baby hammerheads and how quickly do they grow?
Okay, they born in 45, 15 centimeters, half a meter. And then in 1 year, they can grow 35 centimeters, more or less.
All right. I saw another question in Brampton, so I'm going to bring our sixes back into the call.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I got a lot of questions, so I'm just trying to pick out the best one. I have a student who's asking, do the sharks, are they bothered when they're tagged, and do they attack when they're bothered?
When we tag them, they don't like, they are very stressful, for a lot of stress for the situation, of course. But yes, maybe the shark to like a defense can attack. We never happen with us, you know, but it's a wild animal, so it's better don't bother them.
All right, fair enough. We have another question here. Someone would really like to know on YouTube if you have ever seen a great white shark, or if they're even in the area where you work.
No, I never. It's like my dream. I never swim or see great white, only a tiger that is also very beautiful, as is common here in Costa Rica, but the great white is not a species from Costa Rica, so I never saw one.
All right. Well, maybe one day you'll get to travel. Maybe
I hope so.
Mexico's not too far, or maybe even South Africa. I know those are good spots.
Yeah.
Joe in Wisconsin. Go ahead, Joe.
So, do hammerheads have predators? And if so, what are their predators?
Well, I'm sorry again. John, maybe you can help me with the question. Sorry.
Yeah, Joe's wondering about predators. Do the hammerheads have predators?
Okay, good question. And when they are juveniles, they have a lot of predators because the size, they are very, very small. So can be other shark species or the same hammerhead, but the biggest. Also, they live in mangroves. So we have in our region, we have crocodiles that is also can feed on little sharks. And when they are bigger, it could be other shark like tiger sharks.
All right. Well, we have come to the time where we have to start wrapping things up for today. Elena, thank you so much for sharing the incredible work that you do. And congratulations on all the successes you've had so far. If classrooms or students want to follow your work, where should they go on social media?
Well, you can follow Mision Tiburon work in Facebook or Instagram.
All right, excellent. I bet you have lots of great pictures and videos on Instagram.
Yes, we try. Yes.
All right, excellent. Well, I want to give a shout out to all of our YouTube groups today. Thank you for sending in such great questions. We had lots of students tuning in. And then I want to thank all of our camera classrooms. Thank you for your great questions. It's great to see everybody. And of course, a huge thank you once again to Elena. Thank you so much for sharing your work, and thank you for doing what you do.
No, thank you. Thank you for the interest. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. Head over to exploringbytheseat.com. We have a ton of conservation events coming this month. We're bouncing all over the world and highlighting really amazing projects. So we're looking forward to seeing your classrooms again, and of course, lots of new classrooms joining the fun. So thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.